Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to Batman Arkham Asylum. As you can see, it's been a while since I've gotten back to playing this game, and the network has disconnected again. This is the second time in which it's going to toss me out of the game completely because it can't connect to a network, either because it has online always online DRM, like Denuvo or something like that, or because it is just so terribly programmed that the leaderboard function of this game has to always be connected to their servers. Which inherently means if WB ever shut down their servers and did put out a patch of this game, you'd kind of be unable to play the game at all. That is not future thinking at all. We are at 70% done. I guess it's worth mentioning also that I've started uploading the videos of this series to YouTube, and every single video has gotten content ID'd for the music, which I find kind of fascinating considering how, while this music right now that's playing is pretty good, it's not particularly great or recognizable, and it isn't super Batman-esque. You can see at the bottom it even is saying that currently unable to connect to the server. So it's just like trying to put advertisements. See down there, not currently able to connect to the server. ... So they just want to put advertisements. They just want to promote more DLC, and they're willing to ruin your experience, or at least hinder your experience quite a bit.
So you're here at last. Do you like what I've done?
Just so they can shove ads in front of your
face. My babies
face.
are growing, Batman. Come and see.
These graphics do not look good. Like, and sure, I imagine most QA testers were playing a game like this, but yeah, this red fog, it's not great. Like, I didn't change anything as far as like the video options, and I don't even think you can change the video options from this menu. Interesting. So we basically have all the abilities we're gonna get, and we're running through this section, unless this is a case of running through a Scarecrow section, which I don't think we can do that. I mean, we saw Scarecrow was eaten by the crocodile. He'll show up in the sequels, I'm sure, but we can't really do anything more with that story. They're just trying to make sure that if you didn't have the secrets map, you would find most of these secrets.
I'll kill you for that, Batman!
Like, she was going to attack me anyways. So it doesn't make the most sense. Was that guy hanging there? That's one of his, the Joker henchmen. Interesting. So this feels like a sequence where they're implying that the plants will grab you and attack you, and there isn't really enough movement around here. Like, it's not realistic that I'm gonna have to walk over through this room and then this room and this side room and then through here and then through all these sections before I can get to here. So I don't feel like there's gonna be a booby trap where I just walk next to these plants and they grab me or anything. That would have been a better idea than just having these. But I mean, I can just stand here and let them hit me for all I care, because they do such a small amount of damage on easy. Now, in fairness, maybe on nightmare mode they do a lot more damage. I've watched some videos.
Such rich food for my babies.
Like, they covered the other games, and does kind of make it feel more like we're going to. I'm probably going to want to do in 6 months Arkham City, and then it may very well be a reevaluation scenario where I don't. This guy's moving and yet he's dead. His leg's moving. So either the ragdoll mechanics are just really bad, and that's an easy QA thing to fix. Just, hey, you've got him hanging. Let's either hang him by both legs, or let's lock this leg so it doesn't look like it's moving. Because his arms swinging back and forth as if he was swinging makes sense. His leg twitching and spasming when he's deceased doesn't make sense. And if he isn't supposed to be deceased when they were first playing things out, and then that just messes with a lot of that issue too. Let's see. Yeah. There's nothing in this game that says I have to actually punch these things. Like, nothing at all. Like, so...
Every chance you kill Batman just makes me angrier.
Yeah. I don't know if the idea is that this is weakening me somewhat. I mean, because I'm not getting health refills so often.
Are you ready for me? Do you think you can handle me? I'm waiting in here. Come to me.
See, and I don't think she's gonna have any spores or anything. I really do feel like some of these textures just are a little too shiny, a little too glossy. Something seems wrong with the way the game is rendering now. I've had it paused for a decent amount of time, so it does seem like we're kind of typically having that problem that I run into quite often. So I may die from this. Yeah. Where...
Oh, I'd like to thank my fans for their undying support, and the people of Gotham.
Yeah, it feels like the textures
very soon
have not loaded in properly. So maybe we'll in a reload get something more. Let's go ahead and skip that. Alright. Isn't there a tunnel here? Either the tunnel is in the water, or... yeah, it's blocked. So I can't even go get the collectibles I want to get. Which makes me suspect that... wow, I thought I was going to grapple up there. This would be a point where going back and bringing back the flying Batcopter might be useful. If you decided, if you saw a cutscene and that was your final act.
Come to me. Ivy's waiting.
You do have this issue, certainly, where Poison Ivy's main trick is to make men fall in love with her and manipulate people using her pheromones. We're walking through all these plants, and maybe that's what she's trying to do to Batman. One would assume Batman, if he is immune...
I've got myself a little security, Batman. They'll just die if anything happens to me.
So we're gonna unconscious some people. You know, Batman is quite like a YouTuber these days. It's like, I'm not demonetizing these people. I'm not killing them. I'm just unconsciousing them. It's all YouTube family friendly, but made for people over the age of 18, so we don't have to fight with the COPA regulations. And I don't think, yeah, I don't think you can go over here, so that collectible also is blocked. And there would have been no way to get over there and get that collectible until after this point. So these plants have to recede, at least some of them do. Maybe not all of them. Again, a situation here though where I think we are basically hitting Ivy by hitting plants. I don't think this game is going to be well, it's benevolently sexist. It's not going to allow you to hit a bad girl like we can hit all of these bad guys. I feel like Arkham City probably did throw in a female generic thug character, and they try to address that somewhat. It is also probably a sign of the times too. Not that even in 2020 you're going to be able to have an equal number of female enemies as male enemies. I told you to
go to your cell.
I was a fool. I thought the plants were in pain. Now I realize they were evolving, growing stronger.
She's wearing the leaf bikini now instead of the black underwear. I don't know if that's just supposed to be the Leafs bikinis over the black underwear.
My plans will tear you and your precious Gotham to shreds.
Alright, so it seems like we're, yeah.
Caught like a bat in a trap.
So you have to hit A to break 3, apparently. Let's see. So you don't want to touch the grass, which is going to be difficult. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Alright, so it just opened there for a second, so I guess that's what we're supposed to do, is throw batarangs when it's open. And that's how we're going to do this. So we're just going to kind of batarang her, and we're going to dodge. This feels a lot like some of the Resident Evil 4 bosses. Although this whole game definitely would not feel like it was originally a concept for a Resident Evil game, and the companies are wrong. So you just wait till the shields are down and dodge. Dodge attack. This is not greatly different than waiting for the thugs like Bane to get mad at you and decides that they're going to they should open one pretty quickly.
I'll choke the life out of you.
And you can see my life bar is about halfway done, and there might be a dodge cycle here where I have to dodge a couple times. Oh, nope.
You cannot beat Mother Nature, but she can destroy you.
Alright. So how many times am I going to have to do this? Yeah. This is not greatly different, but in all fairness, if this was a boss fight in between some of the other boss fights, where we were just fighting Titan creatures over and over again, it would space it out better. Same is kind of true with the crocodile thing. had that happened a lot earlier, it would have felt a lot more varied, because we felt like they were kind of just doing the same thing very early in the game, so that disappointment came early, and there isn't really a lot to fix that disappointment. And we're taking enough damage here that I'm a little worried it's just going to let me win. But I guess if there was a health bar in the top right that I wasn't even paying attention to. So, I would assume... Oh, you're supposed to do explosive gel on her.
What are you doing?
And he doesn't spray the Batman that time. Was that all?
Save me from the evil.
That was just like phase 1. Interesting. So she has like 2 health bars, and so we're gonna take on these guys, and I think we probably have to take him out first.
I am stronger than
Until it
you.
gets into this scenario. I don't feel like the sonic batarang does more damage, but maybe it does. So we'll try that instead of just the regular one. No, kind of doesn't feel like it's much more. But they definitely needed to throw more of these people at me. And when she does that attack, it does seem to hurt those guys as much as it hurts regular. Is there any other ability that would make sense? I mean, we could try multi-batarang. I mean, that theoretically should do more damage. Yeah, it does seem like multi-batarang is the right move.
I need help here, boys.
This is a slightly too small platform. It's kind of an empty platform.
Save me from the evil bat. Feeling the pressure.
Still fairly easy to dodge into the wrong direction. It does seem like she'll probably only have 2 health bars. This is getting kind of ridiculous even now. And it's not like Poison Ivy could be the main bad guy of this story at all, so she probably shouldn't even exist in this story. She feels like just another character that would have been better in a sequel game. Had they more gone for like an annualized concept, or even a DLC concept instead of the DLC, a more modern DLC concept compared to what they offer nowadays, and what they were offering then. So instead of just cosmetic outfits, if there was a Poison Ivy 5-hour side game, that might be interesting. Although they did try that in Arkham City, and I don't think that helped any with the story. I think more of an annual concept without any DLC is the best way that you can be served here. Making a comic book game almost like a comic book, where every year there's a new bad girl, bad guy to deal with, and that single person is your only focus for that one story and that one mission. I think that works better. I'm a little surprised here that she's just completely willing to be eaten by this plant and use the plant as kind of a symbiote. I would have kind of assumed that the writers would have wanted to make it more look like the plant went crazy and ate her and she was in pain, and you are actually in some twisted logical way rescuing her. Okay. So we've got a huge jump for Joker's party. We're going to the party. We have an upgrade. Multiple frequency detonation. And we're actually rather close to getting one more upgrade. So here's the deal. We go to the party, we end the game, or we try to get the remaining collectibles. And as it looks, I think we've got some more of the crazy people still. The plants have been destroyed enough that I think we can go back to places and get collectibles. We really don't need too much more experience. Actually, we probably don't need any more experience if we're going to get all the collectibles. There's still a decent amount of them though, so that is something to also be concerned about. While we are throughout this area, we will, I imagine, constantly hear the fireworks going off. It is an incredibly abrupt ending. They did do us, I suppose, the favor of not making us walk once again on the outside of the walk out of the area, but I wouldn't really be super appreciative of that either, because let's be honest, there's some issues there. That's where I needed to be. Can I, from this location, can we do this cutscene and get into the caves? I think we can. This is the exact same cutscene. We probably should play a little bit with the detective vision off. That way we can make a kind of mental image of if the graphics are just
security deactivated,
muddy in general, or if has it been muddy this whole time and I've just been kind of blind to that part. Alright, there's 2 collectibles, and then what we want to do is exit back through intensive treatment, because the vast majority of things are in intensive treatment. And the back computer is all destroyed by a plant. Is that how that went? And I guess we're going this way. This is gonna be where it starts to kind of suck. Oh man, did I not? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and I didn't hit my timer start, so I don't know how long I've been going, so I'm gonna say 15 more minutes thereabout. There's a couple areas where we already scanned this, right? Yeah, that was already scanned. We're just looking for a couple of trophies, which, yeah, that's not unsurprising that I would miss that. And I imagine a lot of this is going to boil down to pulling down things with the super grappling hook. I'm glad it doesn't make a reappearance. Okay. In the game. I think this actually does look better. I think it was kind of a last minute effort or idea. We never go through here. This was like the elevator from intensive treatment, or at least they were implying that that was the elevator from intensive treatment when it really wasn't. So yeah. And then somewhere around here. Hey, there we go. If I can hit the right button. Yeah. Just tap A like crazy. So you get a lot of finger blistering in this game. I haven't whined about it too much, but there have been 2 or 3 times already where I've just had to tap the A button or move the left stick more than I feel is a reasonable amount of time. Alright. Where's this gonna put me? Let's put me halfway to where I wanted to be. Have to kind of zigzag it, and I was hoping to perhaps cheat it more. Yep. We've got everything here, so let's go ahead and get that last upgrade. Not that we are likely to even use it. And just double check this. We have 32 more collectibles to get, with a large majority of it being in intensive treatment. I don't think you get a different ending or anything for playing the like for collecting everything. It's just that we're far enough along that it kind of makes sense. See, we need to go in this general area, and then we go back here and exit through Arkham East. Shouldn't be too bad. We can figure out the way to exit, which is a bit of an if, but not too much. Just, I think, crawl up here, and I believe there is a decent chance that we aren't even going to run into any enemies. The island may be completely empty of these, or maybe there'll just not be any anyways. And as long as there's no more areas where we need to get Chatter Teeth, which I suspect that is the case. Top Hat and Tails is the only dress code for this party. These computers don't mean anything, but they're glitchy. Yes. Alright. This is fairly easy. All we have to do is...
It's the Enigma show.
I don't know why we're getting the Enigma show prompt in the audio, but whatever. That maybe they've realized that the only reason I'd be in this area is because of that. I have to remember what the crouch down button is. Okay. So I must have been in this area. I was totally in this area. I just did not realize you had to hold the right bump to take pictures to solve riddles. Or, very possibly, riddles weren't even introduced when we were originally in this area. There were enemies in this section. For a brief moment there. So it says there's something here. But it's up there. So, yeah. Yeah, just another ability we totally would not have had. And one more of these.
I watched in silence as he brought in the woman. Her skin now a venomous green. The wanton creature no longer looked like a human being, much less a woman. The Bible says, "Suffer not a witch to live." Yet he has once again delivered this female atrocity to our care. Once I have dealt with the monster, I think it will be time to see if green wood does, in fact, burn.
See, with that tape, you're starting to get the feeling more like these are not the original founder of Arkham Asylum, but the current guy in charge of Arkham Asylum, and they've just written it in such of a way to make it seem like it's a lot older than it actually is. Otherwise, they're opening a door to a Poison Ivy-like character that's not really Poison Ivy in the past, which wouldn't be a terrible thought, and I'm fairly certain that they've probably done something like that where there's a Batman of the past or a Batman-like archetype with the similar Rogues Gallery enemies of the past, in the past. And when they introduced Swamp Thing and the avatar of the green concept through Swamp Thing, it wouldn't be crazy if there was a previous Poison Ivy like character in the past. Alright. Who is this gonna be, I wonder?
I got what you wanted. You did?
Harley Quinn?
I mean, good.
Like, way too late in the story to get this.
Want to know. So you ready to stop that evil, murdering bat once and for all?
Of course I am. He needs to pay for what he's done to you.
Give it here then, quickly. Come on, Doc. We've got ourselves a bat to kill.
Doc's outputting. Say hello to your new and improved Harley Quinn.
That's almost foreshadowing, as a later story said, that there were previous Harley Quinns. We still have 3 characters that have to be introduced somehow. And we're getting experience for these collectibles, but there's nothing more to unlock. Let's see. Where would you find my home sweet home?
My home sweet home. Even I was shocked when I saw how Maxie Zeus was treated.
I don't even know who Maxie Zeus is. It doesn't seem like there's anything here. Yeah. come up over here and see. Yeah, I see what it is. There is collectibles on top of collectibles. I guess you just have to climb this one. Don't even get that opportunity to grapple up. I don't think that would have been particularly faster to grapple up anyways. We still have like 3 more to get. Just running around. And then it's gonna start to get a little bit crazier. As we have to get 2 or 3 things here and 2 or 3 things there. And yeah, it's kind of obvious that some of these rooms would not have been accessible. Do I need to go in that general direction? I do eventually, but not yet. It does really go to show that they didn't think this all the way through, because had they thought it through, they would have made more of a effort to, let's see, but they would have made more of an effort to have regular people.
Do you need my help, Batman? Do you give up?
Let's see. Seems like the Riddler is just going to taunt us when we are somewhat close to a riddle, or when we're inside the building after the story is pretty much completed. Yeah, I have no idea who this character is. Maxi Zeus. And they put a custom skin over the generic red boxes and weird valves on everything instead of just flushers on the toilet like you would expect a toilet to have. It depicts, let's see who Moxie Zeus is. A deranged gang leader who thought he was Zeus. First appearance in 1979, issue 483 of Detective Comics. Yeah. So no wonder I don't recognize them. 2 more of those are going to be found. Let's see. I can't just jump over that way, and I can't crawl through that way, which is the way we went. And this is just a little collectible area. I can get up here and then jump this way, and then when we were up here there was that for sure that we couldn't do, and so was that the only thing? Yeah. Yeah, it would make so much sense for the crazy enemies to be appearing right now. Just every now and then a spooky jump out, something to give you a jump scare, something to give you a reason to punch something. Since you've already established, long since established, this game is at least 50% beating on crazy peoples or gang members, for it to be so dead and turn into a 100% collectible experience, it just seems really weird now. So yeah, so I could have solved that riddle maybe at the very beginning, but probably not. And we're just going back to the beginning of the game, entering areas where we wouldn't have been able to be otherwise. But I don't think there actually is any collectibles or anything actually back here, because I imagine they didn't assume that anybody would actually bother to go back this direction. And now what we're trying to do is get to that Arkham East exit. And it has been about 15 minutes, so I imagine what we should do is let's go to the Arkham East exit, get that last collectible in this scenario, and I think I'm gonna have to climb this whole thing to get up where I want, right? Do I have to climb? Or am I wasting my time? I suppose what we should do is save ourselves some frustration and see if that's the case. We never got a super grapple hook that would open up higher or let us go higher, or any shortcut like system. So yeah, it does look like we're gonna have to do this climb section, which we did multiple times, trying to find collectibles and struggling to figure out how to make a jump that was just not working. That very jump right there, in fact. It's easier to hit right bump as soon as you climb up on something than it is to even just run towards something, which is weird. And then there was that area over there that had nothing in it, and the secrets kind of confirms there's nothing in it, so unless there was some kind of trophy that I collected prematurely somehow, I don't know how that would be the case. Climb up here, run over this part. Where's the last bit of this? It's way up there. The amount of distance you can climb up actually is pretty random. It's 100% determined on whether they marked a specific ledge as climbable. And you walk right in front of this one so that they make sure you collect that one at least. Alright, and then through here. And just a mad dash through this. They should in Arkham City explain somehow how the Scarecrow escaped, but it's not like it's a hard thing to explain away. One assumes that Killer Croc just got a dose of the Scarecrow's fear toxin and released him. There's kind of nothing else that needs to be said around that idea. And yeah, it should just be on the other side of this door. Yep. And we just didn't have the explosive spray when we did this before.
What?
Yep.
You're nearly done? Are you cheating? Looking them up on the internet? Tell me.
Like, I'm not even really having to look them up because of the secrets maps. These graphics look better. Like, as we get to the earlier parts of the game, it does just look way better than that fuzzy, muddy appearance that it seemed to be giving off from the Ivy section. Which, that's believable too, that they would hide the bad graphics, hide the things that they can't really afford to polish and make look better. Alright, so we are here, and let's see.
Do you like riddles, Batman?
The medical facility still has a lot to do, and the Arkham Mansion has a small amount to do, and the penitentiary has some to do. And the penitentiary should be the last one we do, and the Botanical Garden still has some that we need to do. And Arkham West, which is not where we are, is the next thing. The Arkham West has 10 chatterboxes, which makes sense because there's probably like 10 chatterboxes in the open world. So we're looking straight at the Arkham Mansion. Let's walk through that door. Then we'll get into the Botanical Garden and get that. And then we've done everything on intensive treatment. We've done everything on the caves. Then it's just a matter of the medical facility, running around and collecting everything in the medical facility, which there is quite a lot here that needs to be collected there. And then we'll run into the penitentiary and collect everything in the penitentiary, and then we will run to the party, which is the end of the game. We have 216 of 240 collectibles, and yeah, everything lines up that will get the full story as it is written, which isn't much of a story on the Spirit of Arkham and these characters, these last couple of characters. There's obviously either a Scarecrow tape or, yeah, there's 2 Scarecrow tapes we've missed, and I bet that's that. And then we'll end the game and we'll look at the challenges and see what the challenges really are. I'll spend about 5 minutes, I imagine, doing the challenges, and we'll look at the DLC and the skins, and I guess maybe I'll do the hack to get to the PlayStation DLC and skins at some point. I may not even bother to do that though, because really, if it is just a skin where you can play as the Joker, what's the point in that? Particularly if that is something that could only be done in maybe a New Game Plus. It's really, really ridiculous that anybody would want to play this single player part of this game a second time. It's too linear and too generic. And in a weird way, even though this Batman game is way better than many of the previous Batman games, if not almost all the previous Batman games, it still really is not the Batman I want. And I feel like the Lego Batman games got that feeling a lot more. It's kind of obvious as I'm playing this game, I am more of a fan of the Batman 66 and the Batman animated series type Batman instead of a dark, brooding adult Batman character, which is kind of boring and kind of dull and kind of generic, and that it is almost always a consistent hindrance for all of the adult Batman movies that get made for the theaters. It's just like it really doesn't feel like a interesting character, and that's why even when you do have a good Batman movie, it's a good Batman movie because of its enemies and the rogues gallery more than because of the actor or the character of Bruce Wayne. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.